Hey, if you struggle to stay consistent on your weight loss journey, then you're going to want to join me for this video today because we're going to talk about three things that are going to help you to make your fat loss journey long term so you can lose that weight, keep it off, and finally fit into those clothes. Hey guys, I'm Becky Fox here, and I've helped thousands of women over the last, I think it's been 19 years to lose the fat and keep it off. And today, you guys, we're going to be talking about consistency because as long as been doing this, one of the biggest things that I see is staying the course, right? Sometimes we know what to do. It's just a matter of actually doing the things that we need to do and follow through. So we're going to talk today about what often holds women back. And before I do that, I do have a fat loss checklist. So if you're a woman in your 40s and you're looking to lose fat, I've created a checklist that basically outlines everything you need to know to kickstart your fat loss journey and make sure you're doing it in a sustainable way. So just drop checklist down below to grab that free checklist and I'll send it over to you. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to give you 3 tips that are going to help you to stay more consistent on your journey, and make sure you stay to the end because the last one is something I hear so commonly, and I want to make sure that you take this away because this is going to really help you on your journey. So as you're hopping in, say hello, let me know you're here. I love to see you guys on live as well as if you're catching the replay. But let's go ahead and dive in because these 3 things, if you start to have these shifts around your journey, oh my gosh, it's just going to be such a life changer for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is that weight loss is never a straight line. I think there's a lot of myths floating around of what weight loss should actually look like. And I think we've often been led to believe that, okay, so let's say you start your fitness or nutrition plan and it's you have 20 pounds to lose, and you expect that like your goal is to lose say 1 or 2 pounds a week, and you're expecting like this perfect straight line down, right? So I'm just going to lose exactly a pound every single week. And at the end of 20 weeks, I'm going to have lost the weight and life is going to be great. And what happens I see this with a lot of women. So let's say, 2 weeks goes by, you lost 2 pounds, you're really excited about it. You're showing up consistently with your nutrition, you're showing up consistently with your fitness. And then week 3, all of a sudden you weigh in and the scale's up a pound. And you're like, what the heck? I am working so hard. Why is the scale going in the wrong direction? And this is where a lot of women will give up because they think they're doing something wrong, because they think it's not working and they get frustrated. So they're letting the scale be the guide of their journey. So one of the things that's really going to help you on this journey to wrap your head around, especially if you're going to be weighing in, is that we have to look at the scale as something that is going to be our weight as something that's going to fluctuate. Okay, it never looks like this perfect straight line. I wish I had a little graph here I could show you, right? Like this perfect straight line that just goes down. It's going to look way more like a zigzaggy. Okay, so it's going to maybe go down and then it might go up a little and then it might go down some more, and maybe it'll shoot way up and you're like, holy crap, right? But then it goes down some more. Maybe you hit a little plateau, right? And then it goes down some more. This is totally what you can expect to see. It's not going to be the straight line. It's going to be a little more all over the place. Okay. So if you can understand that, you can know that, hey, if you go up a pound or you go up 2 pounds, it does not mean that you gained fat. It does not mean that you're off track. Okay. And so what's really important to keep in mind is that just being able to see the weight as a trend, to see the data and compare it, instead of comparing it day to day or week to week, we want to look at it over a period of time. Are we seeing from that first time we weighed to say, maybe we weighed a couple weeks, is the trend down? That's what we want to look for, not get in our head about one weigh-in day that went up a little bit. Because I bet if you weigh in a couple days later, it's going to go right back down. So why is this happening? Okay, because weight is not the same thing as fat. Okay, when we step on the scale, it is not just measuring fat, it is measuring muscle mass. It is measuring if you're bloated. Maybe you had a salty meal last night. So a lot of times people will weigh in on Monday because they're like all ready to kickstart their week. But you might have went out to dinner Sunday night, had a salty meal, ate later than usual. Maybe you had something you're not used to eating and you're holding on to water. Could be you haven't went to the bathroom yet, so there's some food sitting in your gut that needs to come out, right? And so it's really important to keep in mind that the scale weighs more than fat, and it can fluctuate from day to day, it can fluctuate from week to week. I've also seen a lot of women where they were losing weight, and then they were gaining muscle. So I ran a gym for many, many years when I first started in fitness, and women would come in all excited. They're like, my pants are looser. I can hook my bra tighter. Like, I'm down a size. They're so pumped up. And then they get on the scale and it's only down a pound, or it's the same as it was last time. And then you just see the look on their face and it's like, oh, all of a sudden they're just like sad, right? And the key here, guys, is that what do you want? Do you ultimately want a lower number on the scale, or do you want to fit into your clothes and look better, right? And that's the key. So we can be looking better, fitting into our clothes better, and it's not always reflecting on the scale. So not only would I suggest looking at the weight as kind of a data point over time and comparing that, but having other ways that you can measure your progress, such as how your clothes fit, or taking measurements, or taking photos and comparing those, because sometimes that fat loss is not the same as weight loss, and it's not always going to reflect on the scale. All right, cool. So let me know in a comment below. I'd love to know, are you somebody that tends to weigh every day, once a week, or you're like, I don't really want to look at the scale, and you pay more attention to your clothes? I'd love to know how you track your progress. Drop a comment down below and let me know. Okay. All right. So that is number one. Weight loss is never a straight line. Okay. So number two is a big one. I did a story on Instagram here yesterday. If you guys aren't following me, go check me out, Becky Fox Fitness on Instagram. Great way to see what I'm up to and get little extra tidbits outside of YouTube. But I was talking about, so I just started doing ballroom dance classes, and I don't have a dance background. It's fun to me. I love doing it. I've done a little bit of ballroom dance with some ex-boyfriends in the past, but I wanted to do this for me. And so I was taking a class on Wednesday night. It was kind of a girls where we're learning this routine, okay, to a Bette Midler song, a little swing dance. And I mean, I'm doing this for fun, but I noticed I was getting in my head, like I kept making mistakes or missing the next move. And I was like, man, I'm never going to figure this out. I look stupid, like just negative, like on myself about how I was doing this. Like I was putting this pressure on myself to feel like I should know more or do better or be more perfect at this thing that I'm just now learning and trying to figure out. And it's really silly to even think that way, right? Like you wouldn't be like, hey, Becky, why aren't you perfect at dancing already? Like that would just be crazy. But also what happens for a lot of people, this can translate into fitness, because you also wouldn't be like, oh, just quit dancing, Becky, give up. You're never going to figure it out. You stink at this. If you're not doing it perfectly, why do it at all? Right? Like that sounds ridiculous. But we do this with our weight loss journey all the time. Women will set these really high expectations for themselves, right? I'm going to give up all sugar. I'm going to like work out 7 days a week. I'm going to, get 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to, eat all my meals perfectly. And, maybe we can do that for a couple of days and we go all in. But what happens when you have a busy day at work or a stressful day at work? It all falls apart. And so when we're not perfect, right, we give up and we quit. And this is where women tend to start this cycle. They're really great till Wednesday. They give up the rest of the week. They're starting over hardcore on Monday. And perfection, as much as it seems like the fastest path to losing the fat and reaching our goals, it slows us down, because all we're really doing is getting good at quitting, right? So take the dance example. I'm not going to expect to show up perfectly when I'm in there, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm not going to give up. And you know what's going to happen because I do that? I can not be perfect, but I'm going to get better at it and start to see better results, and get the moves faster and look better as I'm doing. I look a little stiff, so I'm sure I'll get a little more fluid as I go, because it takes the practice, okay, to get where we want to go. And especially if you're jumping into something a little differently, right? So a lot of times I work with clients who have done a lot of, really strict diets, a lot of strict dieting rules and things like that. And we're taking a different approach where we're taking smaller steps. We're learning some different skills, not just, what to eat and how much to eat and all that good stuff that we need to make sure is on track too, but things like, how do we start tuning into when we're getting full so that if we're, say, out eating dinner on a weekend, we avoid overeating, but we can and still enjoy that meal with our friends or family or whoever we're going out with. And so sometimes these are skills that people have never even heard of in any other program. And so we have to, it's like dancing. It's like I'm learning a new dance move. I'm not going to have it perfectly the first time I do it. I need to practice. I need to keep showing up. And when I hit a busy day where maybe I eat too many cookies or I miss a workout or something falls off track, I don't give up and I keep going. Okay. And one thing that I suggest that can be really helpful in this is instead of going into something expecting everything to be perfect, is expect obstacles, expect challenges, and plan for that stuff. Think about, if you do tend to get tripped up after a busy day at work, if you do tend to get tripped up when you go out to dinner with friends on the weekend, start having a plan in place that's going to help you, even if you fall off track, get back on track, right? Because we can always get back on track with that next meal. We don't have to, just because we fall off track on Wednesday doesn't mean we have to wait until next Monday to get on track and start doing something. Okay. We can always, take that next step. We never have to wait. And it's really, really important that when we're trying to do this, that the plan that we're following is sustainable and it is flexible for real life, because the more pressure we put on ourselves to go all in and to be perfect and try to do something that doesn't feel realistic or sustainable is another reason it's going to be really hard to stay on track with that stuff. Okay, so we've got to ditch the all in, the perfectionism. I know if you're, a lot of women are just like me with that. That's where my brain was hardwired, right? But sometimes smaller steps, sometimes showing up and doing the best we can, understanding that we're human and we're going to slip off track and make mistakes is going to be the number one thing that's going to help you to continue to show up and move forward on this journey. Okay. All right, you guys, I've got my last tip here, number 3. This is probably one of the most important things that you need to know to stay on track, because probably the most common thing I hear next to I struggle to stay consistent is I struggle with motivation. So let me know in a comment down below. Just give me a 1 if you struggle with motivation. The reality is we all struggle with motivation from one time or another. No person on the planet is motivated 100% of the time, right? Even me, I don't always feel like working out. I don't always feel like eating healthy. I would sometimes rather eat a big giant cake for dinner than eating, the rice bowl that I have ready to go or whatever it might be. And so one of the most important things that's going to help you is ditching this idea that you have to be motivated to show up. This is a load of crap. Okay. Motivation has nothing to do with you showing up. And I'm going to prove it to you here, because let's think about it. Think about things that you do every day in your life that you don't want to do, but you do it anyways, even when you're not motivated to do it. I can guarantee there's probably, if you look back, there's days you didn't feel like going to work. There's days you didn't feel like getting up. There's days you didn't really want to send that check into the for the electric bill, right? We don't always want to pay our taxes. There's a lot of things we do that we don't feel like doing, that we don't want to do, but we do it anyways, right? Because there's an outcome that we want, right? We go to work even when we don't feel like it because we want that paycheck, right? We pay the electric bill not because we enjoy paying bills, but we like to have electricity in our house so we can do all the things that we want to do and see at night and watch movies and, cook food or whatever it is. And why do we pay our taxes? I don't think anybody wants to pay their taxes, right? But none of us want to end up in jail for not paying our taxes, right? And so we do things all the time because of a bigger reason. So what I really want to encourage you to do, instead of relying on motivation, I see a few more of you guys hopped in. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate you guys being here, by the way. So we have Eric's on, Celestria. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. Myra, great to see you guys. Thanks for being here. So when it comes to motivation, okay, we have to think of it like the weather. It's going to come and it's going to go. Like I'm sitting here in Michigan and it's definitely cloudy, a little cold today, not my favorite type of weather, right? But I can't control that. There's nothing I can do about that, but I can make the most of it, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to sit in my bed all day and do absolutely nothing, right? I'm still going to get up, do my live stream, get my work done, do the things that need to happen, okay? And so what's going to help is instead of relying on motivation, think about relying on inspiration. Okay. The bigger reason why I'm doing this, I might not feel like working out right now, but you know what? I want to be able to get on the floor and play with my grandkids or my dogs, right? I love, like, I get on the floor and I play with my sister's dogs all the time. I want to be able to go on a vacation and not be hiding in the pictures, the family pictures with the kids and stuff, or hiding in the back, or being the only one taking them because I'm avoiding these pictures and then never having pictures with my family, right? I want to be able to wake up in the morning and have a lot of energy and feel really great so I can go do all the fun things I want to do. Like for me, I want to have the energy to, show up on these lives with energy, to go to my dance class and be excited about it and have the energy to do that stuff instead of feeling like a lazy bum that just wants to sleep on the couch all day long, right? So there's a lot of reasons that we do these things, not because we feel like always eating healthy or we always feel like working out. It's because there's a bigger vision that we have for ourselves. So I really, really encourage you to think about, what is that bigger vision? Why are you going to show up and do it even when you don't feel like it? And if you know what that is, you guys drop in the chat below. I'd love to hear what that is for you. Okay. And what can really help with this too. So obviously having this bigger reason, having this inspiration, getting it in your head that sometimes you just have to do the hard thing. Sometimes you're just not going to feel like it, but you always are going to feel good at the end of it. You're always going to feel accomplished and love how you feel after you do it. So reminding yourself of even those immediate benefits of like, wow, I feel accomplished after I get my workout done. Or, when I stick to my plan that I set out for my food for the day, I feel good about myself. I feel energized. I sleep better, right? So what are those immediate things that we're noticing? Not even the big goal down the road, but the things that we're noticing right away. And lastly, what can really, really help with motivation is having accountability, having support on your journey. I see a lot of women out there trying to figure this stuff out alone. They maybe don't have the support of spouses or the support of family members. They're bringing the Oreos and the popcorn and all the things into the house. And not purposely that they're always trying to sabotage you, but it does make it more difficult when we're not surrounding ourselves with, say, a coach or a group of people that have that same agenda and push us and pull us forward, right? And give us those steps that can help us be more successful in the long run. So who you surround yourself with can be really helpful on this journey as well. And even if it means just showing up to videos like this so that you get inspired, because you're surrounding yourself with that positive message, with somebody else that wants to see you be successful. And that's what can be really, really helpful. That's why I love what I do, which is coaching women online in fat loss. So that's the 3 steps today, guys, that's going to help you show up and be more consistent. Let me know 1, 2, or 3, which one spoke to you, whether it's realizing that weight loss is never a straight line. It's going to be a little more zigzaggy. And so we have to look at the trend with it over time, or use other ways to track our progress that might be more accurate. Number 2 is that trying to be perfect is unrealistic. It's actually the fastest way to giving up, to kind of having this start-stop momentum that a lot of women get stuck in. So if we can let go of some of that perfectionism, take smaller steps, and plan for obstacles, but also know if we mess up and we slip up, it's going to happen and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but we can keep going and rocking forward with our next meal, with the next day. Okay. And lastly, we're not always going to feel like it. We're not always going to be motivated. And so having that bigger inspiration of why you're doing this in the first place, noticing the small benefits when you do stay on track and do the things, and then surrounding yourself with, whether it's a coach or a group of people, or finding those inspirational accounts that are going to encourage you to show up and keep going, can make such a big difference. So drop a comment. Let me know which one spoke to you today. And hey, if you guys haven't checked out my fat loss checklist, make sure to drop checklist down below. I'll get that sent over to you. It's just the top steps to help you guys get things in order, the habits that you need to be focusing on to help you lose that fat for good and keep it off. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.